كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله.
Okay, and the next email is quite an interesting one from Zafir Khan from Kuwait, and he says everyone claims to follow the Quran and Sunnah, but in the end they end up attacking each other with the backing of Quran and Sunnah as well. And he said, how do we as common people differentiate and not fall to prey to these differences?
First of all, I have to ask the questioner, what do you mean by everybody is claiming to follow the Quran and the Sunnah? And what do you mean by they keep attacking each other? Are you referring to the scholars? Yes, indeed, our scholars are following the Quran and the Sunnah. And whenever they differ, their differences are not out of their whims or desires. They have origins. The companions at the time of the Prophet ﷺ have different views, but they had the opportunity to go back to the Prophet ﷺ, consult him, and hear the right answer from him. The succeeding scholars, such as the founders of the four schools of thought, may have different views in various issues, but it doesn't mean that they are not following the Quran and the Sunnah. No, definitely they are. They concluded and deduced their ahkam always from the Quran and the Sunnah. We have no doubt whatsoever in this regard. If one of them relied on a hadith, later on the hadith was proved not to be highly sound or classed as weak, so the other's view is sound, it would be taken. And in this condition, the scholar was not blameworthy. And he did not err on purpose. With regards to those scholars, the Prophet ﷺ said, مَنْ اجْتَهَدَ فَأَصَابَ فَلَهُ أَجْرَانِ وَمَنْ اجْتَهَدَ فَأَخْطَأَ فَلَهُ أَجْرٌ. One who makes ijtihad, and ijtihad is a very high level in the ranking of knowledge. Not any of us can make ijtihad. Whenever there is an issue or a mas'ala or a new event that needs a fiqh council in order to give their hukm or views on this issue, it is not for any of us to make some researches and say this is what I think. It requires the person to master the Arabic language, all its branches, the balagha, the adab, the Arabic poem and poetry, Arabic grammar, to master the memorization of the Quran, to be aware of the different tafasir, and to master the art of hadith and memorize hundreds of thousands of hadith. It's a very complicated process that the scholars, Abu Hanifa, wa Malik, wa Ahmad, wa Shafi'i, have accomplished this level. And there are students who are mujtahideen within the same madhab. So if they made the ijtihad in order to verify or to find a ruling on a mas'ala, their ijtihad is valid 100%. Have they made the right opinion, they receive 2 rewards. And if they erred, but not on purpose obviously, because their main goal was to achieve and to find out the right answer, then they still earn a reward, a full reward for making the ijtihad. What about the followers? Later on we found that al-Jumhur. Al-Jumhur is a term we use to indicate that the vast majority of the scholars. So it is not always the same set of scholars. It varies. In one mas'ala concerning paying zakah on the jewelry, we found al-Jumhur are of the view that it is not due on the women's jewelry to pay zakah. While we find Imam Abu Hanifa standing by himself and saying, no, it is due. And a woman must pay zakah, or her husband or whoever is in charge for her to pay zakah on the gold or silver that she's wearing. But I found the opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa is more right and it is much stronger in this regard. Who is al-Jumhur in this case? Malik, Ahmad, or Shafi'i. In another opinion, you might find a Shafi'i by himself and others. So the others will be al-Jumhur. I say, for instance, al-Imam al-Shafi'i dislikes the usage of the miswak after noon or after asr if the person is fasting. Obviously, he is relying on a personal understanding of a hadith. But the sound hadith proved the opposite. So al-Jumhur in this condition are of the view that it's okay to use the miswak at any time, even if you're fasting, no problem. And that is more right. As a follower, as a seeker of knowledge, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to follow the sound reference. Whether it is with my imam or with another imam. As long as the imam presents a sound hadith or a sound understanding of the Sahaba to the hadith or the verse, then it should be followed.